Hello ATM, my name is Juan Felipe Sierra and today I'm going to interview Dr. Diego Castaño. He's a professor in Nova Southeastern University and today he's going to talk to us about his work. So here you go, enjoy.
Well, my family is from Cuba, and beyond that, they came there from Spain. So you can trace it back to Spain, but most recently, my parents are from Cuba. Well, I wanted to be a physicist since I was in elementary school. Well, obviously there's a lot of studying to do. So in my profession, you have to learn a lot of mathematics. But I was good at math, so that wasn't really a problem. Um, you have to you have to do a lot of reading. You have to do a lot of work. So sometimes when some other students were maybe sleeping, I would stay up late doing calculations or reading and learning things. It requires a dedication on the part of the person, and whenever there's dedication, there's sacrifice. And so, yeah, there's a certain amount of sacrifice in play, let's say, that you have to make in order to gain in academics. Well, when you work on a PhD in any science, whether it be biology or chemistry or physics, you are you are made to do original research, and the original research is usually published somewhere, either as part of your dissertation or in a journal, and so that contributes to the general knowledge of humanity. Well, I mean, I've published in in journals, just like I was saying. I've published original work in journals, and nothing that most people would have heard of because it's not a famous thing, but it contributes to the general knowledge in my field. Other people have used the work that I've done to continue working. Like, for example, I work in particle physics, so some of the work I did predicted the mass of a subatomic particle called a top quark. I don't know if you've heard of this kind of particle, and also the Higgs particle that has been in the news recently. Well, I do theoretical particle physics, and that particular article that you're talking about looks at the theory that the best theory that we have right now for the way that elementary particles act and interact with each other in the universe. Well, I actually am a theorist, so I don't do any experiments. In my field, I do calculations. I do mathematical calculations on paper. Sometimes I may use a computer, but I don't actually do any experiments. I'm not an experimentalist. Well, the publication that you mentioned is actually a fairly famous one. It's been cited. In other words, people have referred to it many times. So in that sense, it's kind of a famous publication. No, I teach and I still do investigations. I do research in fundamental physics nowadays, things related to the theory of relativity, for example. Well, the first thing that caught my eye when I was a kid was mathematical symbols. I thought they were kind of cool looking, and so I wanted to know what they meant. And as I learned more and more math, I started to read about the applications of math in the sciences, and in particular in physics. And I read books about Einstein, and I thought that was kind of interesting stuff. And so by the time I was in fifth grade, fifth and sixth grade, I already knew that I wanted to grow up and become a physicist, like the same kind of physics that Einstein did. Well, I mean, there are lots of people who are role models. My parents, I mean, you know, they were important in my becoming a physicist, and the people around me, my teachers in school, especially in high school, my professors in college. But as far as famous people, Einstein was one. There's another physics Nobel laureate by the name of Richard Feynman, who was another one of my role models. So yeah, there are a lot of role models, and a lot of people that you wouldn't know that were my professors in school that I look up to and are important to me. But anyway, the famous ones are the ones I just told you about, Einstein and Feynman. Right. Well, I would say that they should pursue their interests, and not be deterred by sometimes it'll appear that there's a lot of work involved, but they can do it. If they like it, they can do it. So I would say that they should keep enthusiastic about the sciences and continue to study as much as they can, and eventually it will all pay off.